Hey, welcome to the best of everything. I am Ruben Paul, and across from me, you guys know him. He's my annoying brother, uh, one of the funniest
That you
guys
love.
around that I
Oh,
love.
thank you.
You know I love you, brother.
Yeah, I know.
You get on my nerves, but I do love you. You ghosted me, by the way, on Monday, but we'll talk about that another time.
You left me a message.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I did it once.
Yeah, I mean, you've done it before. I just don't bring it up. But since you started bringing it up for me, I decided to
I
bring
thought
it
we
up.
were gonna, but I thought we were gonna send each other the ghost emoji if one of us did it.
Okay,
You
I'll do
should've
that. I
you-
should have
you-
sent you the ghost.
At the end of the day, you should have texted me. But hey, at least I don't go 7 days without contacting you.
Oh, please. Anyway, man.
But anyway, yeah.
So much to talk about. We've been
Yeah.
talking all weekend.
Yes.
And it's funny because Johnny will usually text me the day before or the day of, like, hey, what are we talking about? But obviously there was no need to text because there's only one thing to talk about, and that's about what happened this Sunday in the horrific helicopter crash that took the lives of Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gianna, and the other people that were on board the helicopter. And
the coach, his wife, his
Yeah.
daughter, Altabelli, and then
Yeah.
the assistant coach.
it's and it's crazy, being born and raised in this city and understanding the impact Kobe had on the city. But really, you don't really understand the impact until it happens.
Until it happens, yeah.
To be so emotional about this loss just showed me, because when it happens, you go, man, this guy really had an effect on my life. It ain't like we were best friends. We talked all the time.
Right.
I mean, imagine the people who are actually close to him. I had the opportunity to meet him once, but I didn't know Kobe Bryant. But when you love sports
Right.
and how much pride he brought to this city, it did feel like him. It's like if you're a
course.
kid, it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
especially in sports, it's like you're going to go get your big brother. Kobe was the big brother to get to play against your team. Because as a Laker fan, man, I mean, I've spoken to some friends who root for teams in other cities, but there's something about having the best player in the league on your team. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's
Yeah.
a pride on that, and a chance that there's a chance that you have to win every night. Like when you got Kobe on your team, you have a chance to win because he's not going to take any times off. And a lot of people think it's weird that people are affected by celebrity or people that they don't know, but a lot of times you don't realize how they affected your life, whether it's a musician that dies and you listen to their music during the hardest time of your life.
That was going to be the next thing I was going to bring up.
Yeah.
That's the people don't understand that athletes have that same effect, maybe even more sometimes than music, because sometimes it's something that if you were athletic as well, or you played that specific sport, it's like, well, I tried to emulate this person and this person made me better. So some people don't grasp that.
Well,
there are some people who just go, well, you didn't know him. You could see people like, you guys act like you knew. It's not
not
it's
that.
how they touch you and affect you.
Well, like some people, like you'll have conversations, and this is not just with women. There's some guys who aren't into sports like that. Like,
Sure.
I just don't get it.
Yeah.
And to me, sports is a huge part of the way that I am. It shaped the person that I am. Because what people don't understand in sports, especially team sports, it's a metaphor of life.
Yeah.
Like everything that you deal with in life, all the qualities you need to overcome obstacles, discipline, sharing, teamwork, pushing through, when it's adversity.
Yeah.
And these are the same qualities that you need to get through in life. And I remember my coach used to say, of course, I want you guys to be better players, but this is going to help you be a better person. These lessons that you're learning here, when you do something wrong and we discipline you, when, we make you run laps until you collapse or, or whatever it is.
For all that.
There's a reason for all that. So when you get out into the real world and you're faced with these things, you have a tool bag of things that you've acquired through playing sports. Now, it's interesting in football. I think football is the ultimate team sport because there's so many moving parts.
Right.
You
all
know,
happening at the
it's
same
all happening at the same time, and you need everybody to be successful.
Yeah.
Basketball is the same thing, not as extensive, because in basketball one player can literally take over a game,
carry a game,
but everybody still has a role to play with the star being successful.
Sure.
You know, so coming up playing sports, you just see, I've just learned so many lessons that's helped me in my everyday life. And then when you see somebody like Kobe Bryant, who embodies all these lessons.
Right.
When you think of his life, the obstacles he went through, people call him a hater, people calling him a ball hog, people, everything that he's gone through, the Shaq and Kobe thing, and the Lakers went down. It's like, oh, he ran like, there are a lot of Kobe haters. There's a term called Kobe hater.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Remember that? They weren't doing well, man. Jeez, it was.
And they're all over him.
All over him.
And he stayed the course, man.
Yeah.
And he
could have left. He could, like
left.
Jerry West was talking about, he was considering the Clippers, and Jerry's like, you cannot go.
He was gonna go.
He was right.
He had given them a verbal commitment, and the fact that he stayed, he gritted it out, and was. And here's the thing, when Shaq left, he took it as a challenge. He wanted to win a championship without Shaq to show
because
he's the guy.
Yes.
Because Shaq, a lot of you guys don't remember, was the most dominant force in basketball. So people tried to discount Kobe's contribution.
Like, well, of course he's getting championships. He's got the number one center in the NBA.
Yeah, but if you understand the game and you just saw how special he was. But the thing that resonates with me is just his relentlessness on the court, man.
Yeah.
Like, you were never cheated when you went to go see Kobe.
Right.
Like, you knew he wasn't going to take a night off.
Yeah.
You knew if he got hurt, he was going to get back up and try to play.
Yeah, go through it.
He's going to try to go through it because it was all about winning. And I've heard people say, there's been countless interviews just about how he really took the game so seriously. And there was no wasted plays. He thought the game. People see him as this great athlete. He was a phenomenal athlete, so explosive, but he was so cerebral and so smart, and knew how to manipulate defenses and players to do exactly what he wanted to do. Like, he would do something in the first quarter to set up something that he would need in the fourth quarter. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was just like boxing. Like, you show one thing to set traps.
Correct.
And do other things. So I don't know, he just meant so much to me in LA, because we all know sports is big business, but sports is a huge part of our culture. It's massive even around the world in a lot of places.
Yeah.
Look at soccer. People are passionate about their sports team because there's such a regional pride that you have when you have a good team.
Right.
And coming up through the Showtime Lakers with Magic, and then that transition from Magic to Shaq and Kobe. To have that guy on your team who played with attitude, who didn't give a damn. To me, really, even though he's from Philly, he represented the spirit of LA that I know. A lot of times when people think of LA, they think of Hollywood and movies, but I didn't grow up in that environment. I grew up, around gangs and just hardcore and don't be a bitch and all these, this toughness. It's a tough city, especially, in the 80s and the 90s with all the gang violence and the drug wars and all that stuff. And then to have a guy on the court, that's why Snoop and Nipsey Hussle, like all these rappers, they gravitated towards Kobe because of he was a dog on the court, man.
The Mamba.
He was the Mamba. He wasn't going back down to nobody or nothing.
Good. Yeah.
He would try to dunk over he dunked over 7-footers, man. We have a top 10 Kobe's package that we're going to play at some point during the show. And you just see his relentlessness, man. But when this accident happened, me and you talked. So the accident happened, I guess like 9:40 something.
Around 9:45, yeah.
And I started getting hit like a little after 10. My boy Eddie, hit me, who I go to games with a lot. He's like my sports partner.
Eddie who?
Eddie Valdez.
Okay, yeah.
So Eddie hit me, and I'm like, dude, I've turned on ESPN. I've gone to CNN. I've gone to all the local channels. I go, it's not here.
I go,
it's not here.
Thing,
and he goes, dude, I'm telling you, I go, where did you get this information from? And while I sent him that text, I sent George Lopez a text, and I was like, yo, did you hear this? And he goes, is this true? And I go, I think it is. Do you hear anything about it? No, I didn't send him Eddie had sent me the article later. I go, have you heard did you hear about Kobe? They said he died. Mm-hmm. And he goes, is this true? And I said, I think so, but I can't find anything on it. And then he goes, where did you hear this from? So I hit Eddie and I go, where did you hear this from? And he said, TMZ. And when he said TMZ, my stomach dropped, because me and Johnny know, and a lot of us know, it's almost like they're never wrong when it comes to stuff like that.
Right.
And they break the news before everybody.
Yeah. But it has the opposite effect on a lot of other people. Some people, because they saw TMZ first, said, "Oh, this could just be some
exactly."
But they are on it early. Now it's so interesting because I was watching the Maryland Indiana game. Okay. And you would think on a sports
breaking news,
or scrolling at the bottom, like there's just room. I mean, we're reporting, we're hearing. So Jennifer texted me. And she's in South Carolina. And she's like, hey, did you hear about Kobe? She did the same thing. Did you hear about Kobe being in a helicopter accident and he died? And I'm like, well, there's nothing. And I'm changing channels and I got on ESPN. I go, I don't see anything. I go, that's probably, she goes, I don't know, but it's TMZ. I go, what did you do? She says, well, Google it. And then I Googled it. And not only did TMZ come up, but some of the other news.
That must have been like after 11 or something.
It was after 11.
So, dude, I'm Googling at like 10 something. Nothing. Like, it was nothing. And then
so great.
And then Eddie, I guess, found it and sent me the link. And in that moment, I realized how important that man has been to my life. Like, you guys know it in my stand-up. I rep LA. I talk about LA.
Born and raised. I'm from LA. Born and raised in LA. Ruben that's been his little his motto though as a stand-up, because most of us came to LA.
Yes.
Really, the majority of stand-up comics, we're all from somewhere else, man, and then started here. And you were able to start here. You grew up here, born here, and
And one thing that I've never wanted to do as a comic, because I remember early in my career, there was always this LA New York rivalry. And people used to go, LA comics used to go to New York and pander. They would shit on LA because it was the easy thing to do, to make fun of LA. Because, everybody makes fun of LA. So they'd come to New York and they wouldn't, they
didn't represent LA.
They didn't represent
they
LA.
Shitted on LA.
So I remember,
That's funny.
I remember I went to New York and I was playing the comic strip, and Lucian Holt was the for Los Angeles. And thanks, Chris.
Yeah, we're in a moment here, bro.
And so, Johnny, I go to New York and I do a set at the comic strip. It was my first time doing a set there, and the set went great. And then I talked to my manager all the time, and she was like, wow, you got great feedback. And I said, yeah. And she said, Lucian said you were very funny. Anytime you're in New York, you can work at the strip. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And she said, and he had the funniest comment. And I said, what did he say? She's like, wow, Ruben is really funny. He's very LA. But I took that as a compliment.
For you, that's yeah.
But at that time, I wasn't even like, I didn't really have a lot of material about LA, but I just always said I never backed down from saying I was in LA.
And there might have been a little bit of even naivete on your part, because maybe you didn't even realize that, sometimes that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
Because, everybody's like, well, what are you doing here then, motherfucker? You're talking about LA the whole time. You know what I mean?
And when I started traveling, we always want to write material or that can play anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, some comics, they do jokes that only work in LA.
Yeah.
And I remember I submitted a set for a TV spot, and I understood the notes that the booker gave, but he said it just feels too local. And I'm like, no, I disagreed with him, because in the way that I talked about it from a personal standpoint.
Yeah, you weren't doing landmarks and the people that that live in this area specifically.
Yeah.
Wasn't right.
And LA represents something around the world. Like when people think of LA, there's a certain thought that they have. You know what I mean? It's like if you say Mexicans, there's stereotypes that come about Mexicans. If you say Jamaicans, there's images that come up about Jamaicans. If you say LA, there's stereotypes and images that come up. So
Rodeo Drive.
Yeah,
and
you
Hollywood
just have all
Walk of
these
Fame.
things that come up. So
Soft.
Soft
comes up.
Exactly.
I mean, right.
And so to get the note that it's like, I don't know, maybe it's too LA. I'm like, dude, I've done this in South Africa. I've done this in Hong Kong. I've done this in China. I've done this in Singapore. I've done this in all these countries. I'm telling you, it's universal because it's who I am.
It's funny you say that because I remember doing a show. It was a benefit show in LA, and I had done some stuff, and that was when I was doing the one thing about the Armenian, remember the Verdugo, the Verdugo bit, and then some man comes up to me afterwards. He goes, "I just curious. I get it." Because I'm aware I'm from Southern California and I know Glendale, there's a lot of Armenians. He goes, how could you possibly do that? That's not going to work when you go on the road. I go, I do it on the road. And he's like, how? And I said, I just explain it a little more. All I say is there's in this area, these types of people, and then you just go through the story the same way. You just here, I don't have to explain it if I'm doing it. I just mention Glendale and then everybody knows whatever. Yeah. But it's funny because people think that if you just have stuff from where you're from,
no one's going to get it.
No one's going to get it.
But
those are the comics who, like what you were saying earlier, they're doing things that are so specific about a neighborhood or somebody's, and they don't explain it. You have to be from LA to get it, and they don't know how to work on it properly.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And I think the skill of a comic, which I thought Richard Pryor was brilliant at, was being able to tell stories that not everybody can necessarily relate to, but I'm going to explain it so well that you're going to be able to relate to it eventually. You know what I mean?
By the way, he's talking about Little Feats. How about Little Feats going to see the voodoo lady, or the drug experiences? Nobody. For some people,
even being in a whorehouse. You know what I mean?
Yes,
stuff like that.
And it paints the picture so well.
Yeah.
You don't have it. You don't. He takes you there, man. Yeah. Just so it's almost like you're experiencing. I want to give a shout out to Whisper out to Stan. Stan, by the way, I did not know he was born in Boston.
Well, now you know.
He's from Tulare. He grew up in Tulare. Sad date, Stan. I didn't know you were from Boston. No wonder he's a Celtics and Patriots.
So to say all that, the pride that I have in the city that I'm from, and especially my parents coming from Haiti, and this is where I was born here. Everybody else in my family was born in Haiti.
Correct.
And I do have a connection there, obviously, through my blood and my DNA. But LA is where I was raised, and Lakers are the first team I could ever remember cheering for. I told you the story. Remember, I used to do the scores and I used to erase.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, statistics, the stats and all that.
I used to do stats when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I used to watch the Lakers games, and I used to write every player's name down. And then when they would score a basket, I'd write 2. And then if they scored another basket, I'd erase 2 and then write 4, and just go through. But that's what I would do. And my parents didn't really understand it, because my parents weren't into sports.
Yeah. And by the way, I mean, what is the sport? I'm just curious because I don't know if
Haiti?
In Haiti,
soccer.
The universe, global sport.
The global sport.
That's the global sport.
Okay, soccer's big.
Okay,
but I never got into that, and sports helped raise me in a lot of ways. I didn't have parents who were very hands-on in my daily activities, so they used to put me in sports.
Yeah,
and I learned a lot of lessons, obviously, from my parents in a serious manner, because everything with my parents were life and death. Just because of where they came from and what they were dealing with, trying to bring food and clothes to
a lot of poverty involved.
Yeah. So they were no nonsense people, and those are the lessons that they taught on how you need to be giving, you need to help people. You're very blessed, you're very fortunate. We didn't grow up like this. Like the way that you're growing up, not everybody lives like this.
Right.
And you can't take it for granted. So I learned that from them, and hard work and all those things. So when I started playing sports, it was something that immediately I connected to.
Yeah.
You know, just the camaraderie, making friends. Like some of my best friends to this day are people that I played ball with, man. You know, settling arguments, you know, playing, let's go one-on-one, let's ball.
Yeah, right.
You know, it was just so many things that sports did for me. And it's hard because my friend has a son, he loves football, but he doesn't want a son to play football because of CTE and stuff that we're hearing about.
Understandable, yeah.
And it's hard for him because he thinks about all the lessons that he learned that shaped him to be the man that he is today. And I said, well, there's other organized sports. I think just like, man, sports gives you drama, it gives you comedy, it gives you tragedy, it gives you humiliation.
Yeah.
Just all these things that you have to overcome.
It's great.
And it teaches you how to lose.
Yeah.
People always talks about winning.
But are they still doing all participation trophies still?
I hope, yeah, they probably are. But when we were coming up,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Of course.
It's like, all right, you got your ass kicked.
Yep.
You lost. You got blown up. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to settle for being a loser? Are you going to do the work to be a champion, you know, to win? You know, what are you willing to sacrifice? Yeah. And I think when you see somebody like Kobe, the reason why he's so revered, why people love him so much, why even people who hate him love him. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, you're seeing
because it's like, man.
So many people from other teams going, our good friend PK, who's a diehard Clippers. He was raised in Southern Cal. He's a Burbank kid. And he's like, he even posted going, I have to admit, I hated Kobe all those years. He goes, then when I saw him go through the Achilles.
And he made those 2 free throws.
Made the free throws. He goes, I had mad respect for him after that. And I actually became a fan after watching him go through that pain and then rebounding from an Achilles injury, which is almost nearly impossible. But even some of these other people that are there, this is their team, not the Lakers. And they're just going, this is a huge loss. This guy was amazing. You know,
I mean, man, people used to tease me and send me messages and talk shit about Kobe all the time to me.
I bet.
And anybody who knows me, you know, knows that I defend Kobe. I've always defended Kobe. I'm like, damn, man, why don't you get off his nuts? Why you always on Kobe's nuts, man? You know, he a ball hog, Rube. He this and that. I'm like, yo, dude.
The no passing.
I'm telling you, he's doing it because this and that. But just seeing his evolution as a player. You know, from Phil Jackson in his book saying at one point Kobe was uncoachable. And then for Kobe, after Phil wrote that book, to allow Phil to coach him in the second run of his career without Shaq.
Right. And
to be humble enough and to evolve, you know, as a player, to understand that he did need his teammates to succeed. I mean, look at what his sports journey has showed you about life and about how you can evolve and how you can change. When he had his kids, you know, people saw a huge change in him.
And then him having, you know, 4 girls that he loved. And then I don't know if you've seen the clip of that one female reporter, Ellie somebody, but she's like, when she got a chance to interview him. And then
Ellie Duncan on ESPN.
Yeah. And when she was asking him, it was her first interview with him. And that at the time he had 3 and they were going to have, and she's like, she's like, what if you have another girl though? And then he's like, I would love 5 more girls. They're going to carry on his legacy anyway, you know, regardless. But at the back thing just to let you, I got to give a whisper out to my cousin, Jimmy Pettis. Anyway, what up, cuz? Anyway, sometimes Ruben and I, and this is not that we feel this way about, you know, all comics who weren't in sports. Yeah. But there would always be these certain comics who get on our nerves. And then we'd realize, we'd find out after getting in a conversation, hey man, did you play any sports growing up? And we would, no man, I wasn't into that. We go, there we go.
Well,
you don't know how to work.
Me and you have talked about this, and I truly believe this, and this is not a negative thing at all. It's just different. And we've been doing this for years. Me and you have been doing this, and I've done this with my friend Lionel B and just other friends. And I get along with anybody. Everybody's different, and we all should be different. Nobody should be the same. Yeah. But I can always tell when someone has never played sports as a man. I can tell when another man has never played sports. And I could even go further. I can tell if a man has never played team sports. Because boxing, tennis,
wrestling. I did some of those.
You know, it's a certain type of attitude and personality that you have. But people who play team sports and really bought in, like I bought in to team sports. Right. And that's why.
Did you play baseball too? No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Baseball
and football, right?
Baseball was actually my first love as far as playing.
Okay.
As far as playing. But basketball was my first love in terms of just, you know, just being fascinated in the Lakers. That was my team. And football is what I really excelled at. Okay. You know what I mean? Yeah. I played basketball too, but I wasn't a great basketball player by any stretch.
But you were natural with football.
Yeah. Actually, I wasn't even natural with football.
Oh, that's right, because you said you didn't.
But I became good at football.
Right.
Why?
Right.
Because I worked my ass off. I knew, you know, what coach told me, like, hey, man, you're really smart. You have talent. You just need to work on these things. And that's why for sports, for me, man, my coaches were like father figures to me. Because you spend so much time with them, and your teammates are like your family. And you know this about me. I don't have a lot of friends. I'm cool with everybody, but the people that I really call friends is a
smaller group.
And I take my friendships very seriously, and that's why sometimes I take things very personally, because I look at them as my family. Yeah. So when I'm not treated as family in return, that does have an effect on me, because when I say I love somebody, I really mean that. And like we've said before, I tell you I love you all the time. Yeah, I tell my friends I love them all the time. And I do really mean that. And I mean that not just in words, but in action, you know? So seeing somebody like Kobe who evolved to being a good teammate, you know, which he wasn't at first. But Michael Jordan was the same way.
Yeah.
You know, people don't like to bring that up. He didn't pass the ball either, you know, especially early on in his career. But you evolve and you learn when you're that
grow, you mature. They mature. Yeah.
He came into the league when he was 17 years old, man. Crazy, man. I remember he shot that air ball in the playoffs, man.
They were even showing some of those things that happened.
Dude, I remember, like, it just felt like the whole city of LA is like, man, come on, man. Why the hell they let that dude shoot the ball? I mean, like, they was just going, everybody went off on Kobe. And the whole city was like, they just went off on Kobe. Like, why they let him shoot man, he a ball hog, man. He should have gave the ball, you know. Why did he shoot that damn ball? But dude, I swear to you, man, I remember telling my friend E in Vegas, I go, man, watch what happens next year when he comes back. I didn't even know him, but I just felt he just had that attitude about himself. Yeah. Like, everybody who's shitting on me right now, watch and see what I do next year. Right. Watch and see the player that I guarantee you I'm not shooting an air ball when the game is on the line like that again. I mean, and just to see him, man. And here, let me just say this, dude. Obviously, there's been players with better numbers. There's been players that are more revered. But I can't think of another player in my lifetime, and this is including Michael Jordan, that just had more spectacular plays. Like plays that you go, what?
Yeah. What did this dude just do?
Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
And, you know, we can debate all this, and this is, please don't chime in trying to debate who was better, Michael or Kobe. I don't really give a damn. I'm just talking about pure from a Laker perspective, as a Laker fan and a Kobe fan, just the many moments he gave the game of basketball and all of us. I mean, his last game to score 60 points.
60 points, I know.
His last game, you know.
Unbelievable.
His last game.
Where a lot of people at that point, 20 years, you know, would probably have a decent game, but not make it a priority to go, I'm going out.
Yeah.
With as many points as I possibly can.
And Magic, like Magic said, you know, he's like, you never felt cheated when you went to go see Kobe. But he was so spectacular, man. And we're going to show some of the highlights a little later, man. But he would just have jaw-dropping plays where you'd get a text message or a phone call like, nigga, did you just see what Kobe did?
Hey, I didn't get one of those.
No, yeah, you wouldn't get that call. Meskin. Did you just see what Did you just see what Kobe did? But I mean, you would get these phone calls or text messages "Yo, dude, turn to Sports Center," you know. And Jordan was spectacular. Don't get me wrong.
Of course, man.
But Kobe just had these iconic moments in LA history that'll never be forgotten. Magic Johnson, I love Magic, and Magic was my favorite Laker for a long time. But he wasn't Kobe.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Kobe had those, he created so much drama. And maybe that was a part of it. Maybe he was dramatic. The Lakers are so good. You know, they were Showtime Lakers was blowing people out.
Yeah, it wasn't.
And we were dominant with.
And that's when I started watching them more when Magic, you know, but he was already retiring by the time I got out here.
Okay.
So then the transition was, you know, like you said, Kobe and Shaq. But yeah, it wasn't they just were so dominant back then that it wasn't as exciting. Like you said,
until they got to the Celtics or something like that.
Yeah, right. But I just feel like it must have been. And the other thing too is like Magic Johnson said last night on Jimmy Kimmel. He's like, man, that guy. He's like, Kobe was 20. He did end up staying, which man says a lot too, because look how many of the greats. And this is not just basketball, but football and other sports, baseball. They go somewhere else in those last few years.
Yeah.
And to stay with the Lakers, I mean, even Montana switched. Even Brett Favre
went to the
switched.
Chiefs, went to the Jets, went to Minnesota.
Yes, jumped around at the end where they're like, well, I have to play, so I'm going to leave, and I have to, I understand, and then and Jordan as well.
Yeah.
That just says a lot too, man. Like he stayed 20 years, dude.
20 years, and
I didn't even realize it just went by so fast. It really did.
And the thing that's fascinating about that, and also to show you his evolution as a man and a player, his final year in LA, he only won 17 games.
Wait, what's that?
His final year in LA, his final game, his final season.
Oh, final season
in LA. Lakers only won 17 games.
Oh.
So think about Kobe Bryant, the ultimate competitor.
Yeah.
The guy who hated losing, hadn't matured enough to be able to enjoy his last season, even though we were getting our ass kicked.
Yeah.
Like that just shows you.
Yeah.
And to win the last game he played.
Right. With 60 points.
Dude, it's just, there's just so much, so many moments, man. And I keep going back, if you're from this city, man, there's something about a championship and a parade where you can puff your chest out and you can talk shit. And maybe Kobe and the Lakers, they gave me a lot of my swag and my vibrato where I can go to these cities and they go, where you from? I'm from LA, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know what it is. You know about them Lakers. Don't act like you don't see them Lakers. Don't act like you don't see them Lakers. Don't act like you don't see these championships. So that gives you and what can somebody say about that if they love sports?
Yeah.
I'm a Knicks fan. Oh, sorry to hear that. I'm a such and such fan. We got more championships than you guys. Yeah. Yeah. So there's always this sense of pride. Even being a Raider fan, and me and you get a lot of crap for being a Raider fan.
Of course.
But if somebody from Cincinnati or Kansas City or anybody like, you guys have never won anything. Shut up.
Yeah.
If a Vikings fan can talk crap. Well, you guys have. Okay, how many rings does your franchise have?
Right.
Nothing. So you might want to go sit down somewhere. And then people love to say, well, that happened 20 years ago. Cowboy fans can still talk shit. Why? Because they won.
Yeah.
Especially that Jimmy Johnson era. A lot of them are still riding that area to win those 3 titles, 2 with Jimmy, 1 with Switzer.
Yeah.
But there's still a sense of pride when your team is good, man. And Kobe did a lot of that for this city. And it wasn't that he just won championships. It's the way that he did it.
Yeah.
Competing at the highest level and you never felt like you got cheated. So when you get the news of this this helicopter crash, all like, dude, once I knew it was real, all the emotions came up about everything that we've been saying for the last 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And
then, all those years, right?
All those
Growing
years.
up here, watching him as a kid.
And then on top of that, another layer for me is I've been through sudden tragic loss. So now, even before
is that kind of a trigger? Does that?
Oh, that it did trigger me. I didn't even know. I was crying because I love Kobe and everything that he represented and the pride that he gave and that he gave the city. But also I thought about Vanessa.
Oh man. Dude.
You know, I've gotten that phone call. You know what I mean? And when you get that phone call, I'm sure it's like, what do you mean? Like, I just spoke to him an hour ago.
That morning, yeah.
I just kissed him. Yeah. I just kissed him and my baby goodbye. Like, what happened?
And you were
and I'm sorry to cut you off, Johnny.
No, go ahead.
And it's not like they did anything unusual. It's not like they went skydiving,
right?
You know, or bungee jumping and some like they took the helicopter
hiking somewhere.
They took the helicopter all the time.
Yeah.
You know, my parents drove every day. So when you get that phone call and they tell you the people you love the most on this planet is gone, it's indescribable. I know the feeling, but it's hard to describe it.
Right.
So my heart just went to them, and then as we got the news about how many people were on the plane, and then you find out his daughter was amongst the victims of the crash. It was so overwhelming for me to think about what we lost in a player, an icon, and then at what you lose as a human being, what we go through. Like, no one is exempt from pain and sorrow, no matter how much money you have.
I know, man. Isn't that it's amazing? It's like, you just don't know. It can obviously it can happen anywhere, anytime,
anytime, man.
Even a I've read up a lot about the chopper and that model, and they're very extremely reliable. It's a 2-engine chopper, not a 1-engine. So for things to go wrong, it's some of the pilots, helicopter pilots that are veteran, experienced, were saying it just those just don't fall out of the sky. Those don't.
Yes. Yes.
So on top of that, it's not like one of those toured helicopters that who knows who's checking the maintenance on this, and then to hear that this pilot took extra care, when it came to Kobe and his family, always tried to make the right decisions, and it
was Kobe's pilot of choice.
And Kobe's pilot of choice, right? Yeah. So it's just one of those things where I think everybody was just people are still kind of stunned. I think, but I immediately started thinking about that his poor wife, who not only loses her husband and her, the love of her life, but man, her daughter, and all that. Yeah,
then Johnny, having to explain it to your other kids while you're trying to be strong for them. It's a daughter that's about to go off to college, the oldest,
17, right? I think something like that. Yeah,
and to have to explain that, And then you have the two babies.
And then you got the one that's what now, 2 or 3? The newborn. Yeah. And I'm thinking of, just thinking about the newborn they had her over the summer. So I don't know, 5-6 months old, something like that. And that she has to also, you've got to watch your baby. I know family's probably helping out and everything, but still she's a mom of 3, and she still has to be a mom and taking care of her kids, and I can't even imagine.
But what's beautiful about that in the same instance of she's a baby, she has no idea, but there's so much footage, there's so many things that Kobe did that has been recorded. The stuff just talking about life and his evolution, like there's interviews that they'll be able to put in, like, this is how your dad felt about hard work. This is how your dad felt about this. Like, that has to be, I think that's going to be so helpful in the future. Sure. Like this is just a part. This is just a piece. And I'm not just talking about showing your kids sports highlights. I'm talking about many of the interviews that he's done And he's talked about his passion. He's talking about helping people reaching their greatest potential and wanting to inspire people, and talking about hard work and discipline and all these things. So she'll have her siblings, she'll have the mom, and she'll have these moments that are on tape forever, that she'll be able to go and reflect on. Like I told you, I found some letters from my mom that my mom wrote me a couple of months ago, and it broke me down because every letter she wrote me had some type of message in it. And the message was consistent. You know, it was just about not being selfish and doing the right things and, you know, putting God first and all these lessons. And then I felt a little bit of the guilt of, man, I never wrote her as much as I should have wrote her. Like she would just say, please write me back. You never write me back. You know what I mean? So to read that and them not be here, it has effect. That's why I always say, and me and my parents were extremely close. That's why, you know, it still affects me tremendously to this day. But I have no regrets in them knowing how I felt about them and me knowing how they felt about me.
You expressed your feelings for them.
Even my dad.
Yeah.
Even my dad.
I mean, and, you know, in moments like that, you know, even when you hear, I'm sure you saw the clip of Shaq breaking down and talking about how, you know, just the little things of, you know, him being inducted into or when he was going to run into Kobe the next time, it's always, hey, I got 5, you got 4.
Yeah.
You know, he goes, I mean, little things like that. I know people are right now. I'm sure a lot of people are reaching out to old friends and family members that they've gotten, but you have to keep it up too. You know, I know people are probably doing it a lot right now. Like, I mean, like he said, he goes, man, I'm gonna have to start, you know, calling more of my friends and just going, hey, I'm just calling to tell you I love you, man. Like,
and here's the thing about
you just don't. I mean,
you just don't know.
I mean, who would ever even think that a routine that. They were in Camarillo the day before, so it was similar to the route, but the fog was much different, you know.
And Johnny, we get reminded almost every day about how precious life is and how you can't take things for granted. And then a couple of weeks go by, and we go back to business as usual. Now, maybe because of what I've been through, I do have a strong realization of what it is. But moments like this do reinforce, like, what am I afraid of? What am I wasting time on? Tomorrow's not promised. Yeah. Why am I putting this off until tomorrow?
So tomorrow.
And, you know, a lot of it is, you know, being lazy, having excuses, or not feeling like doing certain things. But when I look at somebody like Kobe, he just seems like somebody who maximized his life. He reached his full potential. Oh, yeah. And my biggest fear, and we've talked about this, is not reaching my full potential. Yeah. And there's no statute of limitations on success. You can, once you make your mind up to do something, you can do it, but you got to be willing to put forth the work to do it. And he was an example of that. Yeah. And the biggest thing for me, and as comics, a lot of times we get caught up into what people think about us. You know, I think all entertainers to a certain extent. Of course. You know, because our job is predicated on...
got the microscope on us sometimes.
Yeah. But it's predicated on we making people laugh. So, you know, there's a partnership sometimes with the audience that we have. But at the same time, we know, as we've evolved as comedians, that everybody's not going to like us. Oh. Everybody's not going to think we're funny. And that's okay. It's just about finding the people who connect with you. And one thing about Kobe that stands out to me, along with his relentlessness, is his thick skin. You're talking about somebody who was criticized so much. Yeah. And he just shows you, man, you can't give a fuck what anybody thinks. You can't. Because before Sunday, people were still hating him. Yeah. People were still saying he ain't Mike. People said, but look at the effect he's had on the world.
Yeah. It's not even.
So who cares what all these other people think? People, they're illuminating buildings in purple and gold because of this man. Yeah. They're paying tribute to him in other countries. So who cares what the Celtics fan thinks or the Bulls fan think, or the dude who's like, fuck Kobe, this, all these.
The couch potato that knows everything.
Who gives a damn, man? Yeah. You got to stay singularly singularly focused
It's
on your goal.
It's sort of like when we did a show, we did Long Beach last Friday. So remember you were up first, okay? And then you had a great set. Remember I was like, did you leave anything for us?
Oh,
so,
thank you. I remember that.
Yeah, okay. And then there was the guy Harold, but his name was Bill. Remember?
Yeah,
the white guy?
yeah.
So then you had those other people on the side that when the lady yelled out.
Damn, you got a good memory.
Gay porn or something. Okay, then you were talking to them on the right hand. But anyway, then another comic goes up. And then I got up there, and it was like, even when I immediately got up there, the people over to the right over there were just kind of chatting to each other. I know they had gotten their bill too or something. And I kind of said something like, what do you guys, what's going on? Oh, you guys, what's going on? And I didn't realize this is what he said. It took a second, but I heard just something black guy. And I realized that he said, bring back the black guy.
You didn't tell me that. That's
and
hilarious.
I hadn't even started
You hadn't even started yet.
Like,
They say, bring me back on.
So, and there's a point, and then as I was like, what did he just say? And I moved on, and it registered while I started talking to everybody. So I go, oh, I know what he just said. And I knew, like, I'm not even going to deal with these people.
Absolutely.
Because now, granted, they came around.
Of course.
But it's like that example, like, look, they loved Rube, and they didn't really want to, the show was over for them after you walked off the stage. And that's just thing that happens
sometimes.
man.
Yeah.
There's the
A lot of
crowds are
times.
just like, oh, bring back the other person,
Yeah.
But that goes to show you, like, that you can't. Now there might be some other comics who realize that's what they said, would then stop and be like, oh, what's your problem now? Because it cuts into them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Their insecurities kick in. And I was like, yeah, I don't mean, hey man, I get it. You killed. So, but I moved away from them. You know what I mean? I didn't want to press the.
Well, I've said this to you before. Me and Tony Rock have said this. Like, sometimes on shows, sometimes the audience only has so many laughs in them. And then
they only have so many laughs to give.
And then sometimes, man, when a killer is going up early in the show, and you're just like, man, I hope he just leaves some left.
That's why I said that.
I hope they leave some left. And then like Tony go up or you go up and then go, you won tonight. Like, tonight was your night, dude.
Yeah.
I'm cool with it. Like, because I'll have my nights where it's my night. You'll have your nights. It's like, it's your night. It's like, no, this is Johnny's night, man. I just want to get through the set.
Well, that's how I felt, because I was closing it out too. You know what I mean? So I'm going last. And of course, if you're last, you always kind of want to, you want to end on the high, of course, right?
Yeah.
But man, dude, when you were right around, say 15 or something on your set, 15 minutes, I was like, you know what? I don't know if any of us are going to be able to bring this to a higher level than that. You just kind of know. Not that I go in defeated, Johnny, but I'm like, no, I'm going to go up and do my thing. But you can, there's a certain thing that you know what I'm talking about. You see it at the audience. It's more of like, it's not about just laughs. Because I think a lot of comics will always go, wow, man, this comic's killing. I don't know if we can. I don't know if we can get bigger laughs, but it's not that. It's when the audience loves you.
Yeah,
there's a difference.
Yeah, there's
a difference with just getting laughs and killing. It's when the audience, they adore you.
Yeah,
and you can do no wrong, and they're still going to give the other comics laughs.
Yeah,
they're just not going to love the other comics.
Got you. That's a good example, and it's a great analogy for the love affair that Kobe had with LA fans.
Correct.
And it's like, yo,
Correct.
man, I have friends right now that would argue that Kobe is way better than Michael Jordan. Right. You know what I mean? And like I said, this is not about debating about Kobe and Mike, but it just shows you the love. It's like, yo, man, I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn if he had 15 championship rings all by himself. He ain't better than Kobe, man.
Right.
And it's because we had a firsthand look and somebody who was on our side. And I can't tell you, man, well, you understand this, even being a Raider fan, there's just something about going to battle and you got the best guy on your team. Yeah. You puff your chest out. I remember when Boston beat our ass and won the title, and Laker fans were devastated, and you knew Kobe was devastated. But I took peace in knowing what Kobe was devastated. And I told my boys, like, Kobe is mad as hell. Yeah. I'm telling you, he's not going to stop until he gets them back. And then in 2010, we got him back. And you just knew Kobe wasn't going to rest until and here's the thing. We wanted Boston so bad, Laker fans were rooting for Boston to get back to the finals.
Right.
We beat Orlando the year before. We wanted Boston right back, but they didn't make it. And we went back, beat Orlando, and then we was like, please let the Celtics make it to the championship. And they made it to the championships, and we beat them in 7 games. And even in that final game, Kobe didn't have a great performance because he wanted it so bad. I think they said he was 6 for 24, but he had 15 rebounds.
Right.
Do you know how relentless you have to, he did everything he could to will the team in the victory. And I remember going back and forth with my boy E. He was like, man, Kobe's forcing it, man. Kobe's forcing it. I was like, dude, he knows he can't lose this game.
Yeah.
This is his legacy.
I was just going to.
This is his legacy. Magic beat the Celtics. Kareem beat
he's got to be in that conversation.
He has to. Yeah. If his legacy is going to be complete, you have to beat the Celtics because they're the only other basketball franchise that has this, have these rings, man. Y'all know what it is, man. This is LA all day.
You look like you're getting ready to go. I'm from LA, born and raised in LA.
But Smith,
that's got to be that should just be. You should one of these days. You're a special, whether it's an album or it should be literally that simple.
But I will say this: it goes to step.
Born and raised in LA.
I want to pay homage to my hometown of Carson, California.
Mm-hmm.
Delamo.
He's straight out of Carson.
Straight out of Carson. 190th in Wilmington, and it's the same pride. When we say LA, you talk LA County, all the many cities, Inglewood, Carson, Compton, we all consider that LA. So, but, I was born and raised in Carson, and I mean,
hey, by the way, where were you actually?
What hospital?
Yeah, did they have the hospital in that area?
I was born at Kaiser Hospital in Harbor City, California, which is near San Pedro.
That sounds like it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then my parents at the time.
The Pedro thing drives me crazy. You know that, right?
What?
It should be San Pedro.
Yeah, San Pedro.
Yeah.
But it's ironic that you're trying to correct Spanish.
No, let me tell you something. This is just, I'm only going to interject really quickly because I thought this was the funniest thing I'd ever seen. I'm watching Wheel of Fortune, and the guy goes, the contestant, a white man in his 50s, was like, Pat Sajak goes, and you're from San Pedro. He's like, yeah, I'm from San Pedro. And then Pat Sajak goes, okay, is it San Pedro or San Pedro? And then the white man goes, it's San Pedro. And then Pat goes, that's what I thought. That's what I like to say. And I'm like, you're both wrong. Anyway.
A couple of people
Harbor
chimed
City.
in. Eric Rivera says, dude, I hated Kobe. Hated how he torched the Nets in the finals.
Oh, he's a Nets.
Hated him because he was that damn good. I respected him because he was so good. Salute to him. Heart goes out to his family and wife. And that's what a lot of people feel like, dude. I know,
kind of like we kind of hate Brady.
Yes, but Brady cheated. But that's a whole nother conversation. We won't get into that.
Don't even get everybody.
Don't get me started.
We're not going to get into that right now. We're not going to.
So it's a little bit of difference, but he is great.
That was really nice, Eric. That's yeah, man. And that's amazing, right?
But I have a lot of friends who hate the Lakers, who hate Kobe, who sent me messages.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because
it's hey, man, I know how much you love Kobe, or hey, man, I know how much you love the Lakers, thinking about you. I mean, I haven't gotten texts like that since, maybe I lost when I lost Diana, or, other losses that I've incurred, or when I lost my parents. So it just shows you, even people had the presence of mind. They didn't know I was crying. They didn't know where I was, but
they immediately thought about it.
They felt compelled to send me. I got so many messages like Kobe was a family member. Right. Hey, man, sorry about Kobe, dude. Just think about that.
Yeah.
Just think about that. The people even thought to pick up the phone like, man, I got to call Rube, man. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not like he was my brother. It's not like we grew up together. It's not like we were boys.
Kind of was your a sort of a brother,
It
right?
was, dude. He was the big brother that you'd get.
Yeah.
You know, hey man, that other basketball team is messing with me. Oh, I'm gonna go get Kobe.
I'm gonna go get Kobe and Gladys. His sister used to take care of business.
I
for
actually
him.
did that last night. And doing the show last night, man.
Yeah, did you
was hard. I addressed it in the beginning.
I figured it's sometimes you just people get it. Even though it's a comedy show, when things like this happen, you
have to
address it, man. And
because
and
everybody's feeling it.
Because the shows must go on either way. But sometimes it's almost worse. I always feel like it's a little worse when you don't address it.
Yeah. You can't ignore it, man.
Some comic will just go on stage and it's like there's something happened that's just whether it was death with earthquake or a shooting or whatever, and then it's just like, man, you guys would have fun tonight, man, or what? Yeah. It's like, yeah, dude.
Well, I mean,
but this was even bigger.
I'm not comparing the tragedies whatsoever.
No, of course
but
not.
I remember doing stand up after 9/11. It was like the same thing. It's like you can't go up on stage or start a show.
The shows were so weird, man.
The shows were weird. And last night, I will say this, man. Thank you to everybody who came out to Ruby Tuesdays last night. I didn't really want to do the show, but I felt like it was necessary to do the show. And I was grateful for everybody who came out. And I got to tell you, man, it was a great show.
Yeah.
I mean, lots of laughter, man. It was. I just want to acknowledge the comics. Shout out Jamie Kennedy. Dion Cole came through.
Oh, Dion came through
last night. Matt
Bronger.
Matt Bronger was hilarious.
Matt TV, yeah.
He was
Matt
really
TV.
funny last
dude.
night.
Oh,
he was really
he's
funny.
A solid stand-up.
Brittany Schmidt, I don't know if you know her yet.
No, I saw the photo.
Yeah, but I worked with her, and I thought she was hilarious. She came, she was so damn funny. Jay Phillips.
Oh, Jay's always good.
Was hilarious last night. Finesse was hilarious last night.
Mitchell.
It was a special night, man, and we had fun, and I thank the audience because it wasn't an easy show to do, but as much as we gave them, they gave us.
They gave it back.
And because earlier in the day, I was out and about, and everybody was sad.
Yeah.
Like you could feel,
the
sadness.
Yeah.
Kobe is everywhere in the city. If you guys do not live in LA, man, let me tell you, there are murals everywhere, man. And murals aren't easy to do. That means people are doing these within 24 hours.
Yeah. Oh, there was,
and they're beautiful, man.
They just started and they finish it, but within by the next day, it's unbelievable how they're able. These muralists, they call them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I've seen some of the ones that have gone up already, and it's unbelievable, man. What the tributes and everything.
And here's the thing about life: like, live the best possible life you can live. Make whatever difference you can make. Everybody's not going to have an impact like a Kobe Bryant, but you can impact people's lives. And I've said this on the show before, like every day we live, we're writing our eulogy. And what is kind of, I don't want to say what's kind of cool about his death. It's nothing. The thing that I find, another thing that I find special about Kobe's death is people are talking about more than just basketball.
Oh, yeah.
People are talking about what a great dad he is.
What a great dad.
You know, how he championed women's sports.
And he's
coaching
also
his
the
daughter.
one. He's also the one that said there will be women playing in the NBA someday. And he was probably thinking of his daughter,
and being a mentor to so many NBA players.
Yeah.
You know, where Kobe was known as this fierce competitor. I remember people telling me, like, man, nobody liked Kobe. Everybody hate Kobe. And I remember going, what are you talking about, dude? I remember he called Draymond Green. I remember hearing the story. Draymond Green was going through something during one of the Warriors championship runs, and he gets a call from Kobe, man. Mm. You know, you hear so many athletes talk about, I talked to Kobe. Kyrie Irving, who plays for the Brooklyn Nets right now, who played with LeBron in Cleveland, he went to Boston, now he's with the Nets, was very close to Kobe. Like there's so many players that had the relationship, and they talk about how it's a fraternity, and how me and you have talked about. I look at comedy as a fraternity, even if there's certain comics that I might not care for as human beings, or I might not care for their act. I'm not going to let people that aren't in the fraternity shit on them.
Right, because they're still They're
still a part of it, man.
Our frat family.
You know, so when people come up and say negative things about people that I might actually agree with what they're saying, I don't let them know that I agree because it's none of their business.
Yeah.
You know, this is all in-house. You know, people come and say like, hey, what do you think of such and such? You go, oh, man, I know him. He's cool.
Yeah.
You know, and you keep it moving because I'm not going to sit here and bash anybody. You know, that's a part of this fraternity because stand-up comedy is one of the hardest things you can do.
Right.
And like you've always said, we're like the Navy SEALs of the
entertainment industry. Yeah, we're the only ones that can do it.
Yeah. And it's a very difficult job, but I think it's a job that we embrace. So to be able to show up last night and make people laugh with a city that's mourning felt good. And I felt good, man.
Good.
You know?
Yeah, I was wondering, I was like, man, is he going to be in the mood to but when you have a great crowd, then it takes, that helps.
Yeah.
You know, everybody.
But you know, Johnny, I don't know if they started out great. I think we all kind of came into the place like, well, we're here.
I see.
We got to do a show.
And they're probably a little mopey when.
Yeah, they're mopey. I mean, Luna was playing, music, but you could feel the somberness. And I just came up and I said, hey, it's been a tough few days for us here in LA. You guys know where I'm from. Like I was going to wear my Kobe jersey today, but it was just too much for me right now. Because I remember, I remember the times putting on the jersey. Like, you know what it is. We've gone to games together, Dodger games, Raider games. But when going to a Laker game, when your team is good or going to a Dodger, you put that jersey on and you just know we got Kobe, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all got such and such. You got Paul Pierce. We got Kobe. We have the best player on the floor. And they know it too.
Yeah.
We know it and they know it. James Harden, we got Kobe. Say whatever the hell you want. We got Kobe is on our team.
Right.
So we know we got a chance. I mean, I remember, I think one of the clips is from, that we're going to share is from when they played Phoenix before we went on our second championship run. Okay. And the Phoenix Suns were good. That's when they had Steve Nash and they were on fire.
God, yeah, that's right.
And there was that one game, man, where Kobe, if I believe Chris, he sent the game into overtime and then he won the game with the last minute, like 2 last-minute shots in one game.
Okay.
And I was at that game.
Wow.
And I'm just telling you, man, even you knew that they were the better team, you still had a chance because we got Kobe.
Yeah.
And I know it's hard for people to understand that. I'm sure Bulls fans can relate to that.
Right.
Like, yo, man, we got Mike. You know what I mean? And Kobe was our Mike. And he did it a little bit more dramatically than I think Mike did, in my opinion.
Yeah. And elaborate on that. Specifically, how?
Because there was just so much.
Did you feel like he made it feel like he may not be able to pull it off? And
because Mike had, and I'm talking about more to the Paul Gasol years, the second championship run.
Okay,
but Mike had, he had Pippen.
Well, yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they brought in Dennis Rodman for the second three-peat.
Yep.
And Mike was already so established. And Kobe was on the rise. So Mike was already Mike. Mike was already that guy. He had all the championships. And Kobe was chasing that.
Yeah.
So if Kobe was chasing that, the whole city of L.A. was chasing that. Because we were used to being the team going back to back. I mean, we coined the phrase back to back. That's an L.A. phrase. Yeah. Magic, back to back. You know what I mean? That's L.A. So to have Chicago three-peating, you know what I mean? Then the Lakers, we three-peated with Shaq and Kobe, and then Kobe came back and chased and got 2 more championships.
And back to back.
Back to back. And the drama of doing that, the things he had to overcome. Yeah. I mean, he had Paul Gasol, and then, Ron Artest came around. We had Andrew Bynum, but not a lot of Hall of Famers, was on that roster. And Kobe carried those teams and was a leader. And when you're asking me like, well, Ruben, what is it? I think we just saw his evolution right in front of our eyes.
Right.
going from the guy that didn't want to pass to this is the right play. This is what I need to do. Even the play, people say Kobe never passed. One of the most iconic LA moments is when they were playing Portland, and Portland was whooping our ass the whole game. And Kobe makes that move. He gets into the paint at the free throw line. He throws the lob to Shaq. Man, I'm getting chills, man. Shaq catches that ball, man, on the alley-oop and dunks it, and the Staples Center explodes, man. And I remember being at home watching the game. And here's the thing, dude. I watched when Kobe was – I would watch the Laker game standing up almost the whole fourth quarter.
Right.
Because you just couldn't sit down. Yeah. There was so much drama. The games are so close.
Yeah.
And everybody knew Kobe would get the ball, but you still couldn't do anything about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like who? And then D-Fish made a lot of big shots. So it's just so many.
He was clutch too.
So many memories, man. So many memories. But it's such a tragedy. It's you want to think about the good times.
Yeah.
In times like this, I know. For me, unlike basketball, we can go to clips and things that make us feel good and bring back these memories. But when you lose, a parent or a child, that's bigger than the game. And just to think about what his daughters are going through.
Yeah,
his oldest.
The oldest, because it's, and then she's got to be there for her mom. You know what I mean? So she's got to sort of try to be strong as well. They needed, Vanessa and what's it, Tatiana, the oldest one? What's her name? Something like that. Right? Sorry, I apologize. I should have.
Yeah, I can't think
remember.
of the name.
Maybe somebody will. But now the
Natalia.
That's it.
Yeah, Natalia.
That's it. Yeah. So now the only like I had texted you the coach, the assistant coach who passed
with his wife and daughter, right?
No, not that. Yeah, with his that was the baseball coach, right? Mm-hmm. But the woman that was the actual Kobe's assistant coach, her daughter, one of her daughters was supposed to go on that with her, but got sick. So she went by herself. So for the husband, at least he's got his 3 daughters too, because he would have been missing, one. So it's just man, just so sad. Really, really, really sad. But
well, what lesson? Life is about lessons. If we allow it to be. My coach used to say, learn from this loss, learn from this pain that you feel. What's the lesson? And the lesson, I think, is, we revere Kobe so much. We see how much he's loved worldwide from a person that, which is funny that a lot of people hated.
Yeah.
And I think the lesson for me is that I take from it, don't care about what people think, man.
No.
Just let your work and the person that you are speak for itself. Because sooner or later, the truth will come out about who you are, the type of person that you are. And so it's that, not caring about what people think, and then 2, just being relentless towards your goals and your dreams.
And just do it today, not tomorrow.
Not tomorrow, man. And be relentless, man.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to live a life of regret.
Yeah.
Of, oh man, I wish I'd have done this. And you don't want to live a life of fear. It's okay to be afraid. Everybody's afraid. Everybody's afraid.
Taking on new things, something out of the comfort zone.
Yeah, there's a scripture in the Bible that says God did not give us the spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. Now, fear, he didn't give it to us, but he didn't say it didn't exist.
Right.
So it's just on how do you deal with it?
Right.
How do you deal with that fear? And you deal with fear through faith and through pushing through it, because we're afraid of things that have yet happened. And, an acronym for fear is false evidence around reality. We're afraid of things that haven't even happened yet. So they always say, Will Smith says, go after the thing that you fear because there's freedom on the other side of fear. The best things in life are on the other side of fear. Right. So if you're afraid to start a business, if you're afraid to go after a career, if you're afraid to do,
make a change,
make
with
a change,
your career,
like go for it.
Life.
You have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah.
True. It doesn't matter how old you are. No.
Well,
I mean, if you're 50, don't go try to try out for the Lakers or any other team. But I'm talking about within reason. Like, even in entertainment, people think, and if you haven't made it by a certain time, that's not true.
That doesn't work like that.
I mean, there's been so many entertainers who have found huge success later in life.
On. Yep.
You know what I mean? There's no statute of limitations on success. I always say that. I saw Chappelle talking to somebody in an interview. I think it might have been Kevin Hart or something. And he goes, "Hey man, comedy, unlike boxing or unlike sports, we get better as we get older. That's a fact.
Yeah.
I don't care how good you are as a comic at whatever age. If you keep doing it, you're gonna get better as the years progress. Yeah. There's no way you're not a better comic at 35 than you are at 25,
right? Unless
you just stop trying.
Yeah,
it's impossible. So it's about staying consistent and working and not let anything or anybody detour you from what you're trying to accomplish. You can't care about what other people think, man. No. Not everybody might not believe in your dream.
Yeah.
But I've told you first time I told my sister I was going to do stand-up. She's like, I'm funnier than you. So, I mean, that's just that's just the type of stuff you get. And I think Kevin Hart told a story about his family saying, I don't see it. You're not funny. Yeah. And he's the biggest comic in the world right now. Yeah. So sometimes you got to believe it for yourself. Then everybody else will jump on board.
We saw that with Tiffany.
Yeah.
Tiffany, just so you got, because sometimes we take for granted, we forget that we've worked with so many comics, and some of them are now really in hitting big, or they've hit, we knew Bill Burr and Louis C.K. We used to run into these guys all the time. But with Tiffany, a lot of people don't know, was for years, she would be up on stage. I mean, we're talking 10 years ago. She'd be like, and y'all know I'm gonna be famous, right? Ooh, I'm gonna be going to the Oscars. I'm gonna get me one. I'm gonna go. And, it was cute and it was, but yet she believed it. Yeah. And she was fearless. Yeah. That was one thing we always said about Tiffany. She was very fearless on stage. And look, man, she sort of manifested it. Like, she just had that vision.
And here's a fact. It's not always the most talented people who make it.
Yeah.
It's the most relentless people who make it, the people who believe.
The tenacious ones.
You got to believe, because if you don't believe, why would somebody else believe? Yeah. You can have all the talent in the world. And it's funny, just being totally transparent, I've been doing comedy, for a long time, over 20 years. Yeah. And I remember, Jamie Masada and different people. Like, I'm just working, dude. I got blinders on. I have goals. I have things that I'm trying to achieve. But it's always interesting, Jamie comes to me, he's like, buddy, your confidence, man, is sky high. Something is about to happen for you. And you're sitting there thinking, was I not confident before?
Right.
But people can see a change. They can say, hey, man, there's something different about you, man. You've always been funny, but there's something different about you. Right. And maybe it's because I locked into, I really don't give a damn what you think about me.
Yeah.
I'm doing this from my heart, and I'm going to put my all into it. And at the end of the day, if I can truly say that I did my best and put forth my best effort, then I'm okay with the consequences. And I think Kobe was an example of that. Kenny Smith said something about him. It's like, there's a lot of players who are arrogant because they feel entitled. They come in, they were this, they were that. But he said Kobe's arrogance came from, I work harder than everybody else.
Right.
So I know I'm better. So he walked around with that swag. Yeah. And this is no competition with any other comic. It's just, I know who I am. I know what I'm capable of doing. So I'm going to be relentless about what I'm trying to accomplish. And whatever happens with that is going to happen. And I'll be okay with that.
Okay with it.
But I know there's bigger things for me to do and a bigger platform to be able to inspire and to entertain and to help people feel better about their lives and entertain them. That's what I feel I was called to do, and I'm sure you feel the same way.
Correct.
So there's no stopping. There's now putting the foot on the gas and really just go after what it is that we want. And you should go after whatever it is that you want. Don't let anybody tell you what you can and can't do, Because if you have to believe it first. What's the saying? Believe it to achieve it.
Correct.
And people think it's corny, but it's 100% true.
You have to believe to.
And another saying that I love is the person who says they can and the person who says they can't are both right.
Correct.
The person who says they can and the person who says they can't are both right. If you believe you can't do something, you ain't going to do it. But if you believe you, and when I say believe, I mean believe. I'm not saying just say to say, but I'm talking about that belief in your gut, no matter what somebody else says. If everybody around you says you shouldn't be doing what you're doing, are you going to keep doing what you're doing? That's when you know you have the love and the passion. If everybody turned their backs on me and go, man, you shouldn't be doing comedy, as long as I believe this is what I'm called to do, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, I'm going after that, man. And Kobe Bryant was the example of that.
Absolutely.
To us all. I mean, again, from somebody who was hated, just to see the outpouring of love, man.
Even who was it that said? Oh, I think it was Magic. I think Magic Johnson last night said. He said, I actually even think Kobe would really be surprised by this. Mm-hmm. He said, I'm sure he would think that.
He had those blinders on because he got to a point. It's like, I don't care.
Yeah,
you gonna hate me? Hate me.
Right.
But I know I have a mission. I know what it is that I'm here to accomplish. You know, and he said he was at peace with the 5 championships. We all know he wanted to tie Jordan or beat Jordan in championships, but he knew that he maximized his potential. So if it isn't in the cards for me to beat Mike and to win 7, I'm cool with 5 because I know I didn't cheat myself. Right. I didn't cheat the game. They tell stories about him working out. Dwayne Wade told a story last night on Inside the NBA about when Dwayne Wade would guard Kobe, he kept hitting him on the arm.
Dwayne Wade was hitting
Kobe on on his arm.
Right.
So they lost the game. So Kobe went to one of the coaches and like, let's stay after, and I want you to hit me on the arm every time I shoot. So the next time this happens, I'll be able to deal with this. That's not going to beat me. You glancing me on the elbow when the refs are not seeing it and throwing my shot off, that's not going to beat me, homie. You have to try something else. They talked about Kobe coming back, being able to shoot threes with his left hand because he worked on that. Like any advantage that he could gain through hard work, he did that. Yeah. And a lot of people, we want all this success, and including myself, and I have to check myself a lot. We want all these things, but aren't willing to work for it and make the sacrifices. Yeah. You know, I ain't doing that shit. And somebody call you, I ain't driving all the way out there to do that. You know, but sometimes that's on the journey. Yeah. You know, and sometimes for us, we see our friends doing arenas and doing theaters, and we know we're just as talented, if not more talented, and we're doing clubs and doing bars and doing one-nighters. But instead of that depressing you saying, oh man, I should be doing this, I should be doing that, just know this is a part of your journey, and you dominate the things here, kill the clubs, kill the bar shows, kill all this stuff, until your opportunity comes for you to be seen on a bigger platform, you know, but you can't just go, oh man, I feel like I deserve better. So what are you going to do? Stop doing the work? You just keep doing the work. And if you keep doing the work, sooner or later, you're going to get your opportunity. And I believe that. I know one day I'm going to get my opportunity, man. I've been through the wilderness and the desert for a long time. Yeah. You know that. Yes. You know, but I always show up. I always do a good job. I'm always coming up with new material. I'm not sitting. I don't blame anybody for my failures. You know, no excuses, man. We got to eliminate the excuses so we can live our best lives possible. You know, in pop culture, we have a phrase, living my best life. You know, man, I'm living my best life. Man, live your best life. Are you really living your best life? Right. Are you really? So take the opportunity to do the things that you've always wanted to do, man. Yeah. Life is short.
And you just, I mean, anything can, it's not even about things like traveling with flying and all. It's just every day, man. Like
every day could be your last.
In the morning, dude, whenever, sometimes they'll do like the traffic reports in the morning. And whenever they talk about fatalities on the freeways, God, it affects me because I just think, wow, these people were just going to work.
They had no idea.
No idea. That was their last day. You know?
I think about that all the time, Johnny. Yeah. I mean, and for years, I couldn't even, when I would get a phone call like after midnight, like my heart would just start pounding.
Yeah.
You know, because in your mind, you know, when people call you super late, it's always bad news. Yeah. And that's why sometimes when you call somebody late, they go, "Hey, are you okay?" Even before they say hello, "Hey, what's up, man? You all right?"
Yeah.
Like, nah, man, I was just calling, man. I want to tell you what happened at the club. Like, well, it's 3:00 in the morning. Don't be calling me at 3. Man, I thought something happened.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I know with me, here's what I spent a lot when my parents moved to Florida. I spent a lot of time feeling that anxiousness because I knew if anything ever happened, it would be a phone call because my parents lived somewhere else.
Sure.
I'm sure you have some of the same anxiety with your parents, you know, being in Tulare. You know, anything that happens will be a phone call.
It's going to be a phone call, yeah.
But dude, so, you know, you're afraid of the late night phone call. But when I got the phone call about my parents, it was, you know, I believe it was like 5:30, you know what I mean, in the middle of the day. And dude, had a great day that day. And then, hello? Life changed.
Who called you?
Forever. My sister called me.
Gladys?
Yeah.
Oh.
My sister called me.
Because she got
the phone call from the Highway Patrol, I believe, in Florida. And I picked up the phone. And, I mean, you guys don't know my sister, but my sister is the most, like, sometimes, like, she's emotional, but she's very cold. Like, she's the one, hey, you know, if you want to give bad news to somebody, give it to her.
Right.
She'll just take it, whatever. She doesn't have the best bedside manner. And she's not the best at, like, I'm the emotional one. I'm going to spend time on the phone with you. I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to counsel you. My sister ain't doing all that. No. She'll do the funeral arrangement. She knows how to just focus on the task and not get too emotional about it. But when I said hello and I heard her voice, she goes, "Ruben?" I go, "Hey." She's like, "Don't panic." And I go, "What?" And she's like, "I just don't." And then I go, "What? Like, what's going on?" And she's like, "Mommy and Daddy were in a car accident and they can't find Daddy." And I go, what do you mean they can't find him? Like, what are you talking about? Yeah. And she's like, "You know, I just want to let you," she didn't even want to call me and tell me, but she had to.
Yeah.
And she was like, "You know, I just wanted you to know I'm still trying to get information. You know." And then, you know, I could hear her voice cracking, and then I knew, you know, I didn't get all the information like right then and there on the phone call. I just abruptly got up and left. I was with Buddy Lewis, and Buddy Lewis was like, you know, "I'll drive you." And he drove me home, and then I called a very good friend of mine, Fred Joyle, and I was like, "Yo, we got to get to Florida now." And in moments like that, like, I didn't have any money. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm sure some of you try to buy a ticket the day of to go somewhere. And then he was like, "Oh, don't worry about it." He was like, "There'll be tickets waiting for you and your sister at the airport." And he met me at the airport. He met me and my sister at the airport. He took his cell phone off of, he took his cell phone and he gave me a cell phone. And I was, you know, because, you know, cell phones was expensive at that time.
Yeah, this was this was what, 99 or 98?
98.
98.
Yeah.
Okay, 1998.
And he gave me a cell phone, dope cell phone too. And he was like, "Use it as much as you need to use it."
But is there a circumstance that they would have given you a discount on the tickets in a situation like that?
Johnny, I don't even know. Like,
I wonder if
your
he was
head
able
is
to.
just,
Yeah. I wonder if he was able to.
Not
that it matters, but just, you know.
To be honest, I mean, who knows if he did or not? But
still,
he's well off.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. So probably not even a question.
Wasn't even a question for him.
Yeah.
And I don't take it for granted because he was well off, because that's not something that he had to do. But he did, and you know, he's one of my closest friends to this day, and so compassionate. And you know, just hug the ones that you love, man. You know, you and let the people that you love know that you love them, and don't settle for anything in life. You don't have to settle. You really don't have to settle. No. Nobody has to settle. Go after what you believe in. Put a plan together, but set goals, and don't let anything stop you. And that's what I got from Kobe's legacy, and that's what inspired me. That's what I took pride in watching him, and to me, that's what, you know, what he exemplified. So, man, it's been a heavy couple of days, and it's you know, you can still feel the sadness, and they're still showing highlights. But Chris, what are we gonna do? We're gonna do top 10 Kobe highlights.
I have that thing you were talking about. You want
Yeah.
to pen?
Yeah, we're gonna. A friend of mine sent me this vid. It was actually Kobe's top 50
I gotta find where the pen starts.
highlights. Chris, you could have did this a little earlier, buddy.
What? The one you were talking about.
I'm just messing with you. Wait, which one? Yeah, we can do that. Which clip? The
Number 3, the
Butch Bradley.
Phoenix.
Phoenix. Yeah.
Hey,
Well, you know what? Just
Thanks,
go to 10, man, and stop after each one.
Okay.
wait, are we gonna be able to see
Yeah,
it?
we're gonna be able. You're gonna put it on the screen so we can see it, right, Chris?
It'll be full screen,
Okay,
but let me. Sorry, I'm trying to find it.
that's okay, brother. That's okay. We love you, Chris. Anyway.
Oh, he took me to what is that? Black Sheep.
Yeah.
Oh, I treated him to lunch when I came to do the green screen thing here last Friday. And
Why do I know Black Sheep?
It's the burger
Burger
place
place.
over there, dude. And I got their the McNarly.
Ugh,
Doesn't that tell you everything you need to know? It's so bad. It's so dude.
it was a good.
One of the best. But I told him I hadn't had anything to eat, and that's all I ate that day.
And I'm sure you guys ate it right then and there because Johnny, when he has to eat, Johnny has to eat now.
We ate it there.
Dude, Johnny came to my house one time, and I said, "Hey man, let's go pick up some food." So we go, and then Johnny goes, "What are we doing?" And I go, "We're gonna take the food back to my place." Dude, I need to eat now. I'm like, Johnny, I live right around the corner. Dude.
I was He hates that I say starving.
You
by
know
the
I
way,
hate that.
he hates that because there's people. He's from, his family's from Haiti, so they're like, no, dude, you're not. I get it.
You're not starving,
but
brother.
I have
You're
to
not
eat when I'm like super hungry. But plus, if we're gonna, I've done that a couple times with you.
Yeah.
Was that the Del Taco one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no, Fat Burger. I think we went to Fat Burger.
Oh, that was Fat Burger.
Yeah.
I think I did it at Del Taco,
Yeah.
and then I did it that one. Remember
And
that
then
time?
Johnny's like a little kid. No, we're eating now. So clip number 10, man.
All right.
Here we go. Clip number 10. We'll be able to see it full screen.
Okay.
Out there knew that the Knicks might want to trade him. Man,
You
I
can't
should
see
be
it.
trying to get him. Bring back. Oh,
Chris, have you done this before? Well, we can't see it,
You can't
Chris.
see it.
There it
There
is.
it is.
We can't hear it now.
Oh.
Oh, that's when he went baseline on Spreewell. Bang!
Oh.
Take that. Come on, man. And look at the passion. This is number 9.
I was gonna stop after each.
So, you could just let him play.
Yeah.
Just let him play, Chris. And turn the music up, man.
Now we're okay with listening to music.
Yeah. Just. It's not on the screen, Chris.
7.
We're already at 7.
Looking, gets it to Bryant. Bryant dribbling.
I didn't even see 9.
For the buzzer. Banks it
All right.
in.
We have technical difficulties,
He
Chris.
banks
Just
in
stop
the
it.
3. And the
Oh, wait,
Lakers
where can
win
they
the
find
game.
this?
This is from Bleacher Report.
Bleacher. Okay.
Yeah, so we'll just post Kobe's.
Oh, we got it there.
Yeah, it's on. It's actually on the phone. I mean, just so many moments, bro. Just so many moments. So do this. Even though we can't see it here in studio,
Send it as a link.
or if you
we could-
play it, they'll be able to see it within the podcast,
Correct.
the video version, obviously.
Correct.
Yeah, so just let it play from number 10, and we'll look at it on our phones. Let's do that, Johnny.
Oh.
Let me. I have to reset that.
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
no worries, brother. We got to give a shout out to people. Shout out Butch Bradley,
Pete Richmond.
Albert
Mike V.
Cornell.
Oh, Mike V said, I think this happens though. We're out of sync with our audio and video, right?
No, it should be back.
Oh, we just had a little glitch.
It was a glitch. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yo.
Well, thanks to Mike for pointing that out, Mike V.
And shout out to Albert, who came to Ruby Tuesdays last night, man. And
Oh, there's Blas. What's up, Blas?
he came out, and we had a good time. He brought me a little gift, which was nice. So I appreciate you, man. He said, Wish Johnny would have been there. Let me tell you guys,
Oh.
it's so difficult to get Johnny to do a spot at Ruby
Oh,
Tuesdays.
my God.
He gets in this thing. He lives very close to the Laugh Factory. Johnny could throw a rock and hit the building, but it's very hard to get Johnny to come out on a Tuesday.
You know,
but on
I
2020, I'm gonna you have to do the show more, man.
Listen, what's funny too is I actually didn't realize yesterday felt like Monday because I went to Jack's little birthday thing on Monday night. Jack Finks,
yeah.
Okay, so I went to that. For some reason, made it feel like a Sunday night. So it didn't dawn on me until about 10:30, 10:45 that you were doing your show last night.
Yeah.
I did forget about it. I spaced it.
You should do the show more. People ask about you.
Or just, I'll just walk up and like wave at everybody and walk off too. I can do that
man,
too.
you got to perform, man. You got to work. You got to work your craft, man.
Oh, here we go.
You got to work your craft, man.
Well, with all this stuff that happened in the tragedy, for a minute there, I was like, maybe I'll stop annoying Ruben, and then I'm like, no, I have to.
You can't even help it, dude.
Oh, I could if I really didn't want to annoy you.
No,
it would stop immediately.
You can't. It's impossible.
Are you kidding?
So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, this is Bleacher Report's Kobe's top 10 moments.
Oh, yeah. Yana said iTunes will take it down.
Oh yeah, they will.
Oh, they will?
Yeah, I just realized.
Yeah.
Oh, we can't put it up?
Just how about a link?
Yeah, we can do the link.
Yeah, we're going to put a link
We'll just
up.
put the link, guys. You guys can watch it. Thanks, man.
I just realized they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We might even take the live stream down if we play too much of it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, good. They can all see it, man.
Well, it's crazy, man. It doesn't seem real, but as we know, life goes on, and if we want to celebrate the people that we lose, the best way to celebrate them is living a life that they would be proud of.
Absolutely.
And like I said earlier, just take whatever lessons that you can from Kobe, from the tragedy, whatever you admired about Kobe Bryant, apply it to your life.
I'm gonna start calling myself the Brown Mamba. No. Anybody? Is this thing on?
Yeah, but take whatever it is, man. And just be reminded how precious life is and how short it is. And there ain't no shame in telling your friends or your brothers, especially as men, a lot of times.
Yeah.
It's just funny. Like sometimes I won't say that. I'll tell some of my friends that I love them. They're like, hey, cool, man.
Yeah.
But it's like if I wasn't.
Yeah, you too, man.
But here's
You
the
too.
thing. And I never say this, but if I wasn't here, the first thing you'd be like, man, I should have told him I loved him.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like we get in our heads so much, or we might feel uncomfortable about certain things for whatever reasons of how we were raised, not to be emotional or not to show, emotion as men. We always got to be, but I got to tell you, I always got to be stoic, man. But, when the things that I've gone through in my life, the things that I've experienced, dude, I don't hesitate.
I'm sorry.
What?
Stan Felton goes, I say do a reenactment and have Johnny dunk on Ruben wearing a Kobe jersey.
Yeah, that
Brown Mamba.
Yeah, that wouldn't. Johnny be like,
I could with one of those little trampolines.
Yeah, but then we'd have to do it like 18 times. I don't know. I wanted my balls to be on top of your head. It didn't happen. I'm like, dude, no, we're not doing that.
Hey,
Johnny has to have the
speaking of
right
that,
ankle. What?
how about when you wanted me to help you with the filters on that photo? You were gonna,
Johnny's not doing
and I
anything extra.
No, I know, because you and I have that in common. Ruben wanted me to wanted me to go through these filters to enhance this old photo he had, and I knew if I committed to that,
you know what I should explain to you. Normally, yes, but I had tried for so long. Like even the day before, but whatever you would have sent me, if it had been better than mine, I would have just took it.
Okay,
I was exhausted.
Because I know sometimes
I know you, and I know you probably would have thought of that, but I had tried.
No wonder I didn't hear back from you. I go, hey, this is going to turn into an all-day thing.
Yeah.
Because you won't be able to make up your mind.
No.
And
for
you
me,
ghosted me. Oh!
I didn't ghost you. I just said okay. I responded. I just said, okay, scroll through. I said, okay, because I got it. Because, dude, I was exhausted because I did it.
Did you post? You didn't post it.
I did post it.
Oh, I didn't see
post
it. Okay.
So,
all right.
but here's the funny thing
what was
about
everybody saying about that picture, dude?
Oh, they were just laughing at the Jerry curl.
Oh my god.
They're like, dude, you had a Jerry curl. And then Stacy, shout out Stacy, we had on the show. Stacy goes, man, I can't unsee this. I can smell your Jerry curl through the photo. I'm like, it smelled good, Stace. You know, hygiene is always on point.
Hey, listen, that stuff did smell good. What was it? What was the stuff that just
curl activator?
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it did smell good.
I used to use World of Curls. I didn't use Good Fred oil because my whole thing is my mom didn't want it to be greasy.
Well,
you know what I mean?
remember that some of the dudes, they'd be dripping.
Yeah.
With it.
Yeah. See, that's what you guys know. You ain't black. You don't know the real shit. But I used to use like this gel called it's so ridiculous.
What's it called?
World of Curls. Google World of Curls, Chris, to see if it still exists.
I love that.
See if it still exists.
And was that a spray or was it more of
it was a gel. I didn't do sprays.
Oh, you didn't do the spray.
I didn't do sprays.
Okay.
I didn't do sprays.
Right.
I just did gels.
But you know what's funny? I remember a lot of us.
It's still, you can buy it on House of Beauty.
Put it on the screen. Let us see. I want to see what it looks like. What are people using this for nowadays?
Let me know, is that the correct one?
I can't see it from
can't
there.
see it from
Dude, there's no other worlds of curls, dude. Of course, it's the correct one.
I'm gonna send it to the computer.
Yeah, put it on the screen,
Worlds
dude,
of curls.
so you can see it, Johnny.
Yeah, but you know, you have to admit, a lot of us wanted the Jerry, wanted it.
Oh, dude, they used to call
But we couldn't do it. You know, it was
all
like,
my East Coast friends used to call me call people curls Bamas. Man, you a Bama, like big country, like you a country.
oh, like
dude.
Alabama?
Yeah,
Oh, that's funny.
yeah.
But
that's
it's
like
in L.A., though. It was everywhere.
I know, man, and gangsters wore curls. Cuh.
Oh, yeah, speaking of that,
Gangsters wore curls. Cuh.
see how he does it? Guys, see how he does it? I
Yeah.
told Ruben that he should open a black barber shop and it should be called, What Up, Cut? And then when the guy's done cutting his hair, he's all, You good, Cut? And the guy's all, Yeah, I'm good, Cut.
That is hilarious, man. All right, man. Chris,
All right.
what's going on here, dude?
Man, what is with you today, dude?
It's on there now.
You know, we're going to start taking your phone away. You're on that phone or something's going on.
I have it. It's on the screen.
It's not on the
Oh,
screen.
Tara Shields has got on. You got to be kidding
We can't
me.
see it, Chris.
Tara.
It's tiny, Chris. We can't see it. Here.
Oh, is it between us? It's right between us.
World of Curls. World of Curls, man. Yep, that's it. That blue top
Am I doing it right?
had my curl popping back in the day. Oh, man. Dude, I remember when I cut my curl off and went back to the school, man. It was like, it was just, you know, something spread like, what? Like, Ruben cut his curl, Ruben cut his curl, Ruben cut his curl. You see Ruben cut his curl. And I tried to walk down the hallway like nothing happened. And my friend at the time said, damn, dude, when you cut your curl, I knew they were going out. And he was like, damn, I got to cut mine now.
So what did you do? Did you just go like with just a short
I went to
cut?
my bud. What was
like
my
a
boy's
buzz
name?
cut or
His name was Eric Ricard. I believe Eric Ricard. One of my boys that I grew up with. I'm almost positive that's his name. He cut my curl off for me. I was like, man, I want to get rid of this name. You know what made me cut my curl off?
What?
Football. Just having that curl inside of that helmet.
Yeah.
And when you started sweating.
The activators coming down into your eyes and all that.
I was like, I got to get rid of this. And I cut my curl. And it was just like people couldn't believe it. It was hilarious.
You know what we should do, man? We should do an episode where we both wear a wig that's the hairstyle that we had in high school.
that we used to wear.
So you wear a Jerry curl and I'll wear a mullet bi-level, whatever. We called it a bi-level, but really if you look back, it was a mullet.
You had a rat tail too at one point, right?
No, I didn't do the rat tail.
You had the ponytail.
I had the ponytail.
Just a straight ponytail.
Straight pony. That's because my hair was down the hair.
Jeez.
Isn't that funny when I used to do open mic nights?
Fourth daughter, man.
When I used to do open mic nights, guys. Felipe Esparza, I used to do it with Felipe Esparza. Felipe had a buzz crew cut haircut, and I had the long hair. And then look, now he's got the long hair, and I got the short haircut. No, I had they called it oh, you know what else I had? I had the steps. The Bosworth steps.
Oh,
Remember-
you cut lines into your
Yeah.
hair? Oh, okay.
I did the steps too. And I had my hair spiky, and then it was long in the back.
We could just call those designs, but we'll talk about that.
All
another
right.
time.
Anyway, we'll do another one.
Anyway, we're gonna get out of here.
Thanks, cuz.
Thank you guys for listening.
Yeah, my cousin he just watched it for the first time. Speaking of Brett, Brett Ryan, what up, cuz? Did you hear what I just told him? I'll explain it to Brett. Tell me your idea. Tell me if you like.
There's a lot of people who chimed in. Yanni.
You good, cut? Yeah, I'm good, cut.
So, all right.
I just like doing that.
Okay.
Can I do that every episode?
No, let's
Okay.
not do that every episode.
I'm telling you though, it's a great name for a barbershop.
All right, so let's get out of here. Listen.
All right.
Let's end this on a positive note.
On a positive note.
Yeah, I mean, we've said all there is to say, and I'm sure we'll talk about it more in the future, because something like this you just can't talk about in one episode. But again, anybody who's mourning the loss of Kobe Bryant, let the impact his life had on you fuel you to do greater things in life. Take those lessons, whatever it is that you admired about him, and apply them to your life. I know I'm going to do that moving forward. Been reminded about a lot of things through this tragedy, and our condolences to all the families that were affected by this. My heart goes out to all the fans, all the Laker fans. I'm right there with you guys, and to all the Kobe fans around the world, and to everybody who he affected, man. But really take a look on the effect that this man had, and that tells you everything that you need to know about him, because everything that you're hearing about him isn't just about basketball, and I think that's something he'd be very proud of. This goes beyond what he did on the court. Obviously, most of it is because what he did on the court, but the thing that I think is really resonating with people is he was a girl dad.
Mm-hmm.
And just how much he loved his family, how much he loved his kids, how much he participated in their lives and was with them. I do envy that. You know, like we said, I had parents that love me. And even when we talk about you and the relationship with your dad, the fact that your dad took you to games, and even though he gave you a hard time when you lost and everything, but he was there.
Yeah.
He was there, and he cheered you on. He rooted for you. He wanted the best for you. My parents never came to any of my sporting events.
Right.
Ever. My parents never saw me play ball, and I was pretty good when I played. I started, and a lot of parents thought it was strange, but my parents gave me other things, you know, that I cherish.
It's what they knew.
It's what they knew.
Because they
did the best
they didn't
they
even
could.
understand sports.
They didn't understand sports.
How could they, you know?
So they didn't really see the importance of it, but they gave me time in other areas by talking to me, telling me what's important in life, telling me what type of man that I should be, how I should treat people. And those were constant lessons, you know, in the household constantly. So everybody love one another. I love you, brother.
I love you, brother.
And
we love you, Chris.
And hey, guys, love one another. And we will see you next time. It's the best of everything. iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, any place you could
Swap Meet.
You could hear a podcast. Tell a friend,
Flea market.
share, and
Goodwill.
anyway, love one another, everybody. We out.